Yeah, that's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, There's a reason I told you this is my least favorite game of the year every single year edition of the Always Irish show. I hate the Navy game every year. I hate it. I hate it. Welcome in. You can find the program on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up. Notifications on. You'll be alerted every time Notre Dame gets 2 yards of offense and a half against people who live in boats. Twitter, search bar Always Irish Rat. Always Irish. This one's going to be off the rails because the ball game was off the rails. This was out of control, folks. This was outrageous. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You can locate me. Call in line. I imagine they're going to be popping tomorrow. 312-900-8815. Let me know what you think of what you've seen. Fighting Irish Wire. Go check it out. We break everything down. Nick Chepkowski, myself, Mike Chen, others. Make it a part of your daily Notre Dame media routine, folks. So, first things first. This is not where any of you probably figure I'm going to start this show. There's a lot of ways you could go. This one's going to hit some of our outward fan bases harder than our own, I think. Congratulations to the ACC champion Notre Dame Fighting Irish, by the way. ACC champs. Good job, boys. Good job. Well, John, what are you talking about? Well, we beat the crap out of North Carolina. They're going to win one division. We beat the crap out of Clemson. They're going to win the other division. Therefore, ex facto, Notre Dame ACC champs. Any ACC fans out there don't like that? Explain the logic to me any other way. Your two best teams in each of your respective divisions got dominated by Notre Dame. Congrats, Notre Dame, ACC champs. Good job. Good job. Okay, so let's get into our ball game. Here's the deal. Notre Dame wins, but it was a lot closer than it should have been. Didn't score a point in the second half. 19 points allowed in the second half comeback. Here's the deal. I guess there's two different ways to look at this game, folks. Number one, we won, and that is better than the discussions we had to have after Stanford and after Marshall. Let's just forget about all of this game, all the game film, all of it. Forget it, burn it, put it in the toilet, flush it, never look at it, never think about it, never talk about it, move on. This game is weird, and hey, I can't say it's not because I sat here all last week and yesterday and told you guys this game is weird and I hate it. This game is weird and I don't like it. It's just the way it looks and plays is always weird and weird stuff, and I don't like it. So, Mike Golick Jr.'s been saying this, former player on Twitter saying, you fans don't know what it's like to prepare for an academy, especially if they're going to run the option. It's so unique, so challenging, so weird. Be glad we got the win. Burn the tape. Don't overthink it and just keep it moving. He's on that line of thought. Just, it's too weird of a game to take big picture things from. Be glad you won. Move on. Hope you don't have a bunch of injuries. Keep it moving. So that's one way you could look at it. The second way is just a complete meltdown on both sides of the ball the entire second half, where we literally couldn't do anything and looked discombobulated on both sides of the ball the entire time. 2 yards of offense, letting them get back in the game and score, and can't stop the fullback. And we looked like we were playing 20 guys on their defense running downhill at us. No answers, 2 yards of offense. And we're going to ask some tough questions and want some answers. Those are your two options, I think. We won, but it's weird. Forget about it. Burn it and move on. Or, you know what? Notre Dame fails to put together a full performance against an undermanned opponent. Here you go again, 17 points, and look what happened. Bad number for us as favorites, all of that. And we want some answers. Listen, can it just be in the middle and be both? Like, I'm happy we won this stupid game, and I realize how weird it is. I spent all last week talking about it. And also, I realize and recognize there's still problems with the offense, the quarterback, and the play caller at times. It's all true. All of that's true. And it really is a shame because Notre Dame finished off the first half really, really hot. Really, really hot. Oh, by the way, Lindsay, catch of the year. Good job. Going to get overshadowed by some of how weird this game went along and looked as it went along. Good job by Lindsay, catch of the year. Can't believe he caught it. Severely underthrown. He had the guy beat deep if the ball was where it was supposed to be, but whatever, he caught it. We'll take it, all right, given how the rest of the day went. But really good job to finish off the first half hot, and I thought that was going to be a turning point. We had the missed field goal. Not good. Groupie, by the way. Iffy lately on field goals. Iffy. Think about those fourth down plays from now on. Iffy. I don't know if I trust it field goal wise. But we had the missed field goal. Then we had the interception. Touchdown. Good called timeout on third down by Freeman to get the ball back. Punt block. Deep shot. Touchdown. Great. Sequence to end the half in all three phases. Offense did their part. Defense did their part. Special teams did their part. All of it. All of it. Way to end that half. First half, Pine, 5 TDs. Looked locked in, 14 of 16, 234 at the half. Responsible for 5 touchdowns total in the first half alone. No turnovers, no sacks allowed. That's a beautiful first half, folks. Unfortunately, there's 2 halves of football. Second half, 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, interception, 2 yards of offense, no points, outscored 19-0. Man, that's rough. It's just rough. Explain how that is even possible against Navy in the second half. Drives of -6, 4, -1, 8, 1, -4, interception, 66 yards rushing total for the entire contest. No answers for the Navy blitz when they brought it almost every play in the entire second half. All that takes is what they did in the first half a little bit. Wherever that blitz is coming from the honest, there's a dump off right there for you open. They're called blitz beaters for a reason. There's always that outlet that fills where the blitzes are coming from. It's got to be there. It's just math, you guys. It's just math. If they're bringing that much pressure, there's guys that are open or in a soft spot in a zone. Dump it off where that heat's coming from, and you could screen them all day. Where was it? Pine had no feel for where these blitzes were coming from, no timing of it, no sense of it. It was rough. It was rough. And then you ask, I just don't get it. Like, I know Coach Ken is Coach Ken, and he's been around a long time. Coach Ken looked zoned out to me. That dude looked checked out or something. Or maybe that's just his demeanor. But wake up, Ken. I don't know. But I just, for you to get out-coached and outplayed and out-schemed and out-everything the entire second half, man, it's fair to ask questions how that's even possible. Physically and just like game plan-wise. So who's to blame for this total second half failure, especially offensively? It looked like Navy had 20 guys, little small guys, 20 of them running downhill at us, and we had no answer. You're lucky the clock ran out and we were ahead. And that is not how you want to win games. Milking the clock, just being glad it's over. Is this on the players? Is it on the O-line that they had no answers? Is it on Pine for not feeling those blitzes and figuring something out? Is it on Reese? Who? People want to know. Listen, Pine's limited. We say it every week. Pine is limited. Hot, cold, hot, cold. When things are going perfect, he can look really good, but he's limited. And when things aren't perfect, sometimes it looks really bad. That's that gray area, the difference between what Drake May does in a busted play or a play that isn't ideal and Drew Pine. There's just going to be a difference. Here we go again. Even against people that work in submarines that have to be small, Navy bats a ball down for an interception. It's just what you're going to get with the quarterback with Pine's skill set. It's just rough. It's tough. Every week it's hard to look at these quarterbacks all over the country that whip the ball around with more veracity and ease than we do. It drives me crazy every week. But where is Reese to figure a way out of this trouble we were in? 2 yards of offense in the second half. He had no answers. No answers at all. Just totally looked like we were punching our way out of a wet paper bag. So you got people, some are mad at Pine. Some don't know why the offensive line couldn't do a better job with those blitzes. Some don't want to know what the heck Reese was scheming and how we couldn't figure out a way out of this. Like, all of that's probably fair. And then you have half the fan base again that wants Reese out of here. And then a half that says, oh, just wait till he gets a good quarterback. I'm serious. I don't know what to think anymore, man. But it's just wild how it could be this rough for App after looking that good in the first half. Quarterback and offensive coordinator are issues to me still. Wide receiver's going to be sorted out within a year or two and become a strength, not a weakness. But these two spots have to click more regularly than they do. Quarterback and offense coordinator. All right. I get it. Listen, I get that the Reese thing is complicated. It's like, where's Reese scheming in and out of this? Like figuring it out. And then it's like, John, you can't be mad at Reese because Pine's not even the guy you wanted to start. So how mad are you going to be at Reese that the backup isn't that good? Like, is that even fair? I've been seeing a lot of that discussed. And then you still want to say, fine, but Reese wanted Pine even as the backup. Why are we even recruiting and giving scholarships to guys that are that small and limited to begin with? And you could also say he's been in the program a few years. Shouldn't he be further along in development? So all of those things I think are fair to question and talk about and ask questions about. The Reese thing is so tough. It's tough. I put a poll on Twitter last night. As we sit right now, knowing everything we know, what do you want to happen with Reese? Leave Notre Dame after this year, come back to Notre Dame, or don't know? It was like a third. In the 30s for get rid of him and back, and then whatever's left for I don't know. Even in our own fan base, in my ecosystem that follows me on Twitter, it was almost a third with like 600 or 700 respondents after last night, the poll. Want him back, don't want him back, don't know. It was like somewhere in the ballpark of thirds almost. So people really don't know what to think and feel about that. Listen, I get it. That you're like, how is that Tommy's fault? He's dealing with the backup. It's just, I need the backup to be a little bigger and better than, I guess, to begin with. I don't know. It's just really, really frustrating. And it's like there's always an excuse for something if you look hard enough. This was just a really awful look the second half, and you're lucky you got away with it. You're lucky you got away with it. All right. And so it's just nobody having any answers against Navy is not a good feeling. Like being totally lost and just running out the clock and not figuring your way out of it is just weird, man. You're just lucky we were up as much as we were in the second half. So do you worry about all that and regenerate all these questions about Reese and all that? Listen, even after last week, it was fair to still worry about the quarterback position. Like the winning game plan against Clemson was to minimize our quarterback's impact, not maximize it. People need to realize that's not ideal. It worked out. It is not a long-term way to win high-level football games. Minimize the impact of your quarterback who touches the ball more than everybody. So realize that wasn't ideal the way we won it last week. It was just the way we had to do it, and we followed the script. So do you totally get yourself worked up about all that offense stuff, or do you just say it's Navy, throw it in the garbage, we'll worry about it later? Like, whatever. Defensively, I get it. Bertrand was out. That's a big hit for that fullback dive. But 133 yards on that fullback, 9 per, along a 50. Come on, man. Get real. JD or no JD, Bertrand or no Bertrand, the fullback dive is the number one thing you have to stop when you're playing Navy. Bad job. 133 yards right up the middle from the fullback dive. That's amateur hour. That's high school football scouting out the option freshman year. Come on. Come on, man. 255 rushing, 5.5 pers, a bad day at the office, folks. I don't even like it that we let him throw it for 108. That seems like 408 for the way they usually throw the ball. So I don't know. This is why I hate this game. It's just so weird. This is why I hate this game. It just messes up the flow of everything where you have a hard time taking account of what you saw. I just don't like it. So what do you want to do? Take the win and move on? The hell with it. Burn it. Flush it in the crapper? Or is the way this played out really going to bug you? And you're going to ask a lot of tough questions. I think it's fair to live in both. Be glad that we won, and it isn't the feeling after Marshall and Stanford. But I also want to know why it looked this bad and we had no answers, no solutions, especially offensively. I just can't. This can't be. This can't be. It's not good enough. Brian Mason, special teams, another block punt. Congratulations. There's something we did right. Number 7, leads the country. Outrageous. Notre Dame's blocking over 23% of opponents' punts the last 5 ball games. You recovered 2 onside. Good job there as well. Groupie field goals, I don't trust them at the moment. That's an issue as we move forward. This game was just weird. It was Navy. I just don't like it. I never liked it. As a little kid, I didn't like it. As a 38-year-old, I don't like it. And anybody who can't understand why, replay the game. Weird stuff happens. The way we played was weird. The yardages we gained were weird. The yardages we allowed were weird. It was all weird. The offense is driving me crazy. I can't be the only one that wants to fast forward 3 years from now, see what this team looks like with hopefully a real high-level elite potential quarterback and a bunch of deer wide receivers jumping and running all over. This is like pulling teeth watching sometimes. Everybody's just so sick of us not having a good, well-rounded offense that we can rely on. It's not too much to ask for to not get outgained by Navy, which happened, by the way. But hey, we won 9-3, 10-3, still on the table. Clean things up, play better next week in a bitter rivalry game, and then ramp up for USC. The problem is BC's not good. Phil's not playing, and the backup might be better than him. So that's what we're going to have to talk about this week. It's just this offense, man. It's just nowhere near as consistent as it needs to be to get the program where it needs to be for a lot of different reasons. And that is the number one thing that has to have a clear change in directional path whatever that's going to look like when we start analyzing things in the off season. That all needs to get figured out fast. So it's just frustrating. I'm sick of the same areas popping up, holding us back. The constant quarterback stress and offensive coordinator stress and who's to blame and who's to credit and why did this happen? I'm so sick of Notre Dame just not having a really good offense, man. It really is brutal. And it's just been forever that we don't have a great offense. Everybody's just sick of it. So I don't know whether everybody should overanalyze this and worry about it, throw it in the trash, and we'll all be better for that. I don't know what to expect. But there is a reason it's my least favorite game of the year, and we just saw why. Let me know what you think.